This is Totternhoe Church, St Giles's, I think it is. I'm just dodging conkers at the moment because they're all falling on my head. Now, I've come down to have a look in the field opposite here, but while I was here I thought I'd have a quick pop in and have a look around the churchyard, have a quick look at the names on the gravestones. It's loads and loads. You see the same local names over and over again. Pratts, Fountains, Pigots, Linneys, Gurneys. It's all those names that I've heard all my life in this area. I found one stone which is a relative of mine. This is a Maunders, which would be maybe a cousin or something of my dad's mum. Oh no, it's not this one. That's a fountain. It's that one. I used to work with a fountain. This one here. George Edward Maunders and Hilda Maunders. He died in 1974, aged 67. She died in 1980, aged... can't read that. Going by the dates and the ages, I'd say that George Edward Maunders might well have been a cousin of my nan's or something like that. And it's nice to see that somebody or other has been here and left some flowers fairly recently. Now my interest actually lies in that field just over there. Right, we've just come down the path into this field. The church is just off behind those trees. So standing here in this field in Totternhoe, I can see some really important old sites. Just over the hilltop there you've got Maidenbower, which was a Neolithic causewayed enclosure, and later on an Iron Age fortress. Something very similar going on just there at Marina Drive. Then of course you've got Dunstable Downs there, and you can actually see the Five Knolls if I zoom in a bit. You can see those burial mounds pretty clearly. And then around the ridge, following off in that direction, you get to Ivanhoe Beacon, another old hilltop fort. The problem with all of these places is when you go to them now, all you get to see is lumps and bumps. Now, I don't mind looking at lumps and bumps, that's all fine. But some of these places, I've visited them so many times and I'm so familiar with them, they're just a bit boring, not boring, a bit samey to keep going back and looking at. So what I decided we'll do, I've noticed over the years from various books and websites that every artefact that ever seems to have been found in any of these sites that are surrounding me at the moment, they all ended up in Luton Museum. Yeah, Luton. I just keep telling myself I'm going for educational purposes. It'll all be worthwhile. And it's not really in Luton as such. It's on the outskirts in a park, so it might not be too bad to go and visit. Just cross over this little bridge here into this field. Now, in this field there was a Roman villa. An enormous, great big Roman villa. That's all dry today. Massive, great big Roman villa. Again, all the finds, of which there were plenty, went to Luton Museum. Would have been that field just there, I reckon. Just there it would have been. I think it was about 200 foot by 250 foot, something like that. Great big Roman villa. Visible, very clearly visible from the little way over there. Within sight of all of the old pagan fortresses that were here before the Romans turned up. And actually also, without all those hay bales in the way, you'd even be able to see the top of Hunger Hill. But isn't this just the classic example of there was something majorly important here, something really big and impressive, but there's just absolutely no sign of it whatsoever. I've looked on the satellite image hoping to see some parch marks or something. but nothing whatsoever. So we're going to have to go to that museum. I'm going to have to bite the bullet and we'll go and have a look. I mean, by what I've read, from what I've seen, there's going to be skeletons from up there on the Five Knolls that were dug up. All sorts of sherds and pots and that sort of thing. And I can't wait to see things that are actually found in places like Maidenbower and here, you know, where there's just nothing to look at. You have to go elsewhere to see it. There's Edlesborough Church right off in the haze in the distance. I think this farm that I'm walking across, I think it actually belongs to my sister's mate who she went to school with. Can't remember her name. I think this is definitely where that Roman villa must have sat, because I read it described as being in the field directly south of the church, which is this one here. And look how flat that area is compared to everything around it. Perfect spot for a Roman villa. I want that one. Okay, somewhat reluctantly, Luton, here we come. I bought that for just such an occasion. I hope this is actually going to be a proper museum. I remember years back, Dunstable Library had a bit of a museum going on upstairs, and at one point they had skeletons up there, which I think came from the Five Knolls at the top of Dunstable Downs. I've got a feeling they're probably now at the museum in Luton. What's concerning me a little bit, other than the fact that it's you know where, they don't call it a museum anymore. They call it the Stockwood Experience Centre. It makes me worry that there might not be that much in the way of exhibits anymore, and it's all just flashing lights and pushy buttons for kids to play with. Fingers crossed it will actually have some things to look at. I don't know what to expect. Why can't they just call it a museum? Why did I have to call it an experience centre? Just makes me worry a bit about what I'm going to find.
Reinforcements. They realise we're leaving. It's a conspiracy to send me round the twist.
Well, that's the first museum car park I've ever seen that's been used as a donut track. Okay, my mistake. It's not a experience centre. It's a discovery centre. I'm sure it makes all the difference. And look what else they do here, Molly. I wonder how much that might cost. Guess what? Absolute waste of time. I knew it. I knew this was going to be a non-video. Absolute waste of time. I went in through the front entrance and they've got like a sort of reception area which they've called the box office. Asked the box office, I said, is this what used to be known as Luton Museum? Is this where you've got all of the artefacts and the relics that have been dug up from places like Maidenbower, Totternhoe Villa, the Five Knolls? She didn't have, the woman sitting in the box office, she didn't have the foggiest idea what I was talking about. And when I said to her, is this what used to be known as Luton Museum? She looked quite sort of haughty about it and said, I'm afraid this is the Discovery Centre. Anyway, I walked through to see what I could find, and there was one bloke there who was actually quite helpful. He said to me, what are you looking, what is it you're after? Can I help you? I explained to him that I was looking for the archaeological finds from Dunstable. And he said to me, oh no, he said, we do have that here, that is here, but he said it's closed at the moment for maintenance. So, thanks Luton, well worth my time. Maybe we should just try this again. He said to me it will be open again soon. Maybe we should just try this again. I really want to see those things. I'm sorry about that, I'm probably more disappointed than you are. I think what I might do, while I'm in Luton, I might give my dad a quick ring and see if he's in. I might pop over and see my dad. He'd be interested actually to see that footage from the Maunders grave at Totternhoe. That'll be one of his relatives. I'll go and see my dad, see if he fancies a bit of Green Lane in, that'll be fun. Don't want to waste my day off completely, do I? Okay, see you soon. Thanks for nothing, Luton. I'm just going to sit and sulk in the rain instead.